Okay, good evening, everybody. And Mr. Chairman, please allow me to stand on existing protocol. I greet you all, the media and everybody present here today. It's a very, very difficult moment for all of us, but I will say more difficult for women of this Gambia, concerned women and mothers of this country. Because as a mother, I can relate, I can feel how that one mother who has lost his or her daughter, a daughter or a son, from such a negligent act and incompetence of the authorities that we bestow the task to oversee our health sector, to cure but not to kill, to cure but not to murder. I feel your pain and I am sorry. I wish we can turn this around. And in that effort, that's why we all came together and say enough is enough. We're not going to continue to sit and watch people do things that serve their interests, but not the interests of the people who have put them in power and entrust them with the resources and the finances to oversee our affairs. Things happen in the country and situations arise. A lot of people will sit there and say it is beyond our control, but we are saying it is within our control because the power lies in our hands. And we are ready to show that the power is in us and we will change and fire and dismiss people who are not serving the interests, our own interests, but their own interests. This is an easy thing to find out that a medicine is not fit for purpose and not allow it to come into the country. It is so easy. For me, I am ashamed that a medical doctor, a professional, will be working in an organization that will be administering medications that have toxic substances in them to children and mothers and everybody, citizens that go there to seek attention. I am ashamed. So because of this, we really have lost confidence in those authorities, whoever the person may be, and we're demanding that they resign and excuse us from those offices that we own and put them in there. They need to leave. From the president, it has happened time and time again that you failed us, and this is one of those that you failed us again. And to make matters worse, you stood on a national television that we own and slapped it on our face to tell us this is nothing. We ain't seen nothing yet. But we have news for you. We are not going to let it continue. Enough is enough. We're not going to watch our children dying like animals in this country because the power resides in us. I sympathize with the parents. I pray for all the departed young souls to be accepted in the highest Jannah. Thank you. It's a very important question to ask who are organizing this. What's the name? Like they rightly said, it's not owned by anybody. It's not any organization. These are concerned, patriotic citizens who feel the need that we cannot continue to sit and watch. Issues happen in this country. Quite often something happens, everybody tries to watch. They har kan moy njëkk a jóg. And su nit ki jógee nga xool feesam bi, oh Nenneh la, I'm not going to say anything. Oh Degen la duma wax dara duma bokka. Omar la duma bokka. We have gone past that stage. This is lives lost. Those 66 lovely, beautiful souls, we don't know what they could have been in society later on when they grow up. And I'm sure those 66, they come from different walks of lives. They belong in different communities. They come from different tribes. They come from different political parties or affiliation. So it's a combination. It's not one person's own or one group or one sector. It's a national issue. Thus, we need a collective effort. And we are calling on the women. This is our thing. We need to lead. Ñun ñoo dee jur, ñun ñoo yóbbu lopitaan, ñun ñoo dee sonna, ñun ñoo am métit gi. Buñ des gannaaw nañ leen jóg li nga xam ne suñ axal ak suñ yelleef la ñu jox ñu ko bem doy te buñ nangu kenn ku ñu jaay doole kenn ku ñu tuutil buñ ko nangu nañ leen jóg. Buñ ko defut bi yoon nag ku nekk nag ngoyoo ngoy booy sa doom parce que fu mu nekk ni fu naa ne kees gi tëj nañ ko daaj nañ ko dañ ko war a daaj.
That these 66 plus children we're talking about, reflects a deep and a very wide systemic failure in this country, not just today, but in the years and decades that we've been in this country. For children, for youth, for healthcare, for education, every sector, there is consistently gross failure in service delivery, in the protection of rights, in ensuring that quality services are provided to Gambian people. And this is why we are having this situation. And for which I think every citizen should think deeper and far beyond the 66 plus children to realize that this is going to happen tomorrow. It's going to happen next week. It's going to happen next year. So long as the system, as it is, operates in this country, there is a system that lacks accountability, a system that lacks efficiency because it lacks accountability and transparency, a system where there is no leadership, and where all state institutions from the executive level, from the legislature, from the judiciary are failing in their responsibility to ensure that rights are protected, services are delivered, quality services. And unless we address this, are aware of this and address it, I think we will continue to live a life of uncertainty, of misery, of pain. All right, 66 mortality is high. Now, in this country, the minister said, but these samples, they took them to Senegal, to Ghana. Senegal. All right? Bob case rape trial going on the HIV, before otherwise somebody comes to help you. You said your health system is the best. All right? And we have to respond to that. And why is that? It is because there is poor leadership and corruption. Because at the end of the day, how much does that equipment cost? A dialysis at the Edward Francis Moore Teaching Hospital, an MRI machine, a testing kit at food security. When the sniper thing happened, did they not take the samples to Senegal or Ghana or somewhere else? The equipment that food security needs, how much does it cost? It doesn't cost $1 million. But look at the vehicle the president is driving. Look at the vehicle ministers are driving, permanent secretaries, directors, managing directors, so on and so forth. Vehicles that cost nothing less than $3 million. But you can sit before us as a public official, tell us we don't have capacity, we don't have resources. I mean, even America is building its capacity today. America, of all places, we think is the most powerful country. They are building capacity. So capacity is always built. But there's capacity here to prevent this. And just to end this, to just show you that negligence and corruption we are talking about, we have a Ministry of Health. Under its body, POVI, we have statutory bodies mandated to guide, to watch over the delivery of health services and health products to make sure we have good health care. And that is the Medicines Control Agency and the Pharmacy Council. Now, if you go to the 2014 Medicine Controls Agency Act, the guidelines of the Medicines Control Act says on importation alone of medicines that only importers who are licensed by the agency are permitted to import medicines and related products. For requirements as an importer, refer to MCA guideline for licensing as importer of medicines and related products. Who imported those syrup here? They should have been registered with MCA. So MCA cannot tell us that we don't know where these syrups came from. It went for it to say government hospitals, government health facilities, similar health-related institutions that provide healthcare services are authorized to import medicines and related products for use in patients undergoing treatment in these facilities. But it says non-governmental organizations, private clinics or hospitals, including veterinary clinics or hospitals that provide healthcare services may be permitted by the agency to import reasonable quantities for use only in patients under their care in their facilities and only if the products are not locally available. So the law is there. The instruments are there. What capacity are you talking about? That's an agency that is mandated to do that. It's a registered medical doctors, dentists, and veterinary surgeons may be permitted to import reasonable quantities on special request to the agency for use only by patients under their care. So these children, which health facilities they go to? Those children are under the care of those health facilities. And those health facilities are supposed to have obtained permission from the agency to import these syrups. So the Medicines Control Agency, they know. Yet they can give us a press release to say 2 importers are suspended, or what importer is suspended. You cannot name us that importer. But if you go further, it says guideline for registration of medicines. That guideline is meant to create procedures for registrations of medicines in the Gambia for variations of registered medicines or for renewals of registrations. And it says the registration, variation, and renewal of registration of medicines should be approved by the agency before importation into the country, except of those used as samples for the purpose of this application. So no medicine can enter this country without the knowledge of the Gambia government. So when we get to this point, the minister should take responsibility. The head of MCA should take responsibility. The board of MCA should take responsibility. The council of the pharmacy council should take responsibility to say, we failed. We let our guard down. This is why these things pass through. And the pharmacy council, there's a whole act, Gambia Pharmacy Council Act 2014. And it says their purpose is the promotion and the protection of health and safety of the general public through safeguarding, maintaining, and enforcing the highest standards in the practice of pharmacy and for connected matters. So the laws are there, the instruments are there. So how can we have this come here? MCA, if you need an equipment, buy that equipment. I'm sure the vehicle the executive director of MCA drives is more expensive than that equipment. So you cannot tell us we don't have resources, we don't have capacity. And this is why I'm saying we have a perennial systemic failure in this country. And the only solution lies with we the citizens. That ultimately we are the ones dying. It is our children dying. I mean, you know, we are the ones who go to Edward Francis Moore Teaching Hospital and get bad treatment and have to suffer with the pain at home. In my family, I have, you know, nephews, nieces, grandsons who I know we had to take them to Senegal. I mean, how can we go on like that as a country? But meantime, those people have the means to easily travel out to go and get the highest quality of treatment. Yet the minister has the audacity to tell us Gambia has the best health system in the region. Which region are you talking about? You have the best health system, you are sending samples to Senegal? You are sending samples to Ghana? Are those not in the region? So, fellow citizens, you know, I think the speakers have made the point. For me, it is justice and accountability. Those responsible, the guardians, you know, as Lamin said, government is the primary duty bearer. They have a duty to protect. They failed. We need investigation to see which institution, which official failed in his or her duty, and we prosecute them. That these families, 66, they need compensation. Government needs to compensate each and every family for the negligence that led to the loss of their children. And the civil society, as citizens, we need to raise the necessary resources to see how do we support each of these family members to seek justice in the courts. All right? And of course, to continue the advocacy at the level of the executive, at the level of the legislature, that they have a duty to ensure accountability. It is not possible we have an executive and a legislature in a country, yet abuse takes place without justice. That's impunity. Our lawmakers need to stand up to make sure that they address, they check the executive and all these institutions to make sure they perform according to the law. And the law is here. Medicines Control Act, Pharmacy Council Act, it is there. So, Madi will come in wrong, Benny Membe for him. Then in Fanambalo Candela, Omar Hafanyaming. Yeah? Menisio Mendoteng, ka nan nuclear Nasuno Kaitandi, Nim Dinding Town Warning Menta Metawot. Melalon Koifata, Kuku Kante, Namanke, ye borle tamboro mealon kamanke bor betet. Oboro manya na duna gammeja. WHO yaitani ko boro an manta dunya dawdan din gambe kola an amalo warta a nuclear water na Minister of Health amman sila amman malu amman president kafo ko aka WHO abe wole jale kan ko liya ko lankene ma nyame dunya kono mana kada WHO ta lankene ma mana kada WHO ta lankene mala kume alon ko abe haramadun tinyak ite kam ne batum janni WHO ba lankene ma adalla tinyaro alla balang amin alla naso mi anyim be sabu al mo ko kacha fo ite ko ite kata wole jale ni WHO man nyim fo bin delta sila jam an hanin say ngola ko dinding tang boroning fo kononto but dinding jolle be sasari mamellon dinding jolle fatila sol ko fo e bade mamellon won meli alon ko ni sasabe lari laran to sayente fo be kendela le bang ñing bunda me ñing pharmacie o manufacturer même India mele ñin dara ni kawolong ko i manke mo sobelti ou man kolea ni sidi la computer ya Google drone isaje ko clearly wo company fon India la basa kundan diwon ye bawo company ton banku dole ye o company ya banle ite ka sinyati le gambe jay kita o company sifa boro mi alon ko nadu da moro jato kono ake jarale o ay fa ite mo ko kisi yalla kenema ya ino asabatini itata yo isikanan yo di na mol hanin sa kasi buka fu mo ka fu mo le ko nga importa killing suspend le nga importa do keteni tenite ite o to fu la mole mo nyanta wala na so da nga janfa wala nga ko nyin company nyile nyin drop kurung natina jang nga janfela barbi nde mo tolom binde de sasa nga da pharmacie do nga ta boro sanji bo pharmacie do fo molié jumhala woti because hanama dum niyo yoleta mo tangoro womu sate wolet womu masakalet mo tangoro fata dam that's a massacre you know so nyimbe tan nata badi la belari nyame wolom ko hanin sa ndel gambe di na gambe di ya ma fonka ha hanin sa fomma fahamle banko gambe banko di ya ma faham munam so manna banko di ya manna banko kanta wala dande nga mol mel tombon pour ye kendam binda nolti ye dogo ke molye ngasi ika tilim maliane balafiru samba molkan ne nafulo ka pisir pasar me alon ko niyo ika tawonya kabrin independent ñine be ke kan gambe jang an gambe di ñanda si ye fam buña ye fallon ye fan kanta ye balangol ko president mun nam binda no leti vice president mun nam binda no leti minister mun nam binda no leti ndeleke jo ndeleke domorindi ndeleke fete fata ndeleke larandi lan ndeleke jar kendandi so mun nam binda no leti yaji fo banku di ne faham ye lo ko nte sonna moye tilimbali akenna manke faloti pour yena e 5 ans e ben do kundila fo nga fa ba ñine be kering Gambia since independent yaji ñi manke drone ñi dindiwul mel fata bari an nga dindiwul drone ni nga dindiwul la ko jibe 2004 dinding tan konontama tan nani man fajang nvan la sojarol nga melta nga uniform dila nga joran dila mbejola yena dinumra yebun yefa sanji mo ni fobi mbedi kilomendo jumale konti boda ko na masakunda gambe masakunda is a criminal ibe gambe din fakan kabri independent be gambe din fakan ibe gambe din fo hari andikan ibe gambe din ke kan you know I mean tilimali yakan just like that kabri independent wala be kiring 2000 akita fobi wodi ni dol bije menyalon ko ni imam fanu dol bije tombi wol kata president sita ka president ka deputy ka managing director ka big CEO di somewhere dol bije wol be siran kono kabri wado fobi ibe siran kono ime fanna fano gambe dingul be siring wo tilimbali be lare mel fano tilimbali ake ngana ngol dundin na de ko bundal de kotake nga plasol dila nga makamo dila I mean fandel del gambe dingul bu kam mirabang hani nyin 2017 today penny appeal journalist wali ay tandi ko bunda do be ga fa penny appeal e ka dindul ta ko bayole del kawle makoy itata yetili malia alangena mata sinada fa sinada set masakunda be siri yo company wo organisation yebula honya andu nga minister so memmarta dindewul la nga minister soto memata banko kono kanta kuola minister of interior nga IGP soto nga attorney general soto ñilom bundalti mo na ko place meñan tan kantana bari yen mbarama wol be siri nyaabale man son kan mo mol kanta Bilal boarding school dindi konondo manata je fobe ifat Senegal jang musundi man fa lopitano Macky Sall est minister of health abay amon nya saba man fenge fa ya bay sinya kile so gambela ko ani ko warta bak but ñing abentel le bulu nin lafta na balo sa kanta ñinya ndello nin lafta ngatari mantoro kono nin doya anin ñin ni ko yakono butu ci tari wo nyaadro nga molta ngeto mon nga semodila ngatari no mako sajio ha be tilimbala mo la be mo doyala be mo dorola ko lafta na nyamen ci tari wo nyaadro ala baraka bak boycotted this and no specific invitation went to any organization. So it's a spontaneous movement that arose in the wake of this crisis. So, as everyone was responding, reacting on social media, a few of us felt to organize and hold a vigil immediately on Friday. And so it is still in organization mode, like in formation mode, but it's not intended to be an organization or institution, but it's a platform. So if you're an individual farmer, if you're a taxi driver, it's open to you. If you're in the diaspora, if you're an organization, if you're a journalist, any human being, any citizen who is hungry for justice, who wants justice and accountability, come on board, bring your idea, and we mobilize and harness. So we are at CPA today because we just last night the idea that given the president's statement, given the minister's press conference, that there needs to be a response, because at the end of the day we cannot sit here, our servants who fail in their duty now come create a narrative to exonerate themselves and then leave us in limbo. That would be grossly irresponsible on our part, and so we are not going to allow President Adama Barrow or Minister of Health Amadou Sane, Samate, or any other person, public official, to control the narrative, to push down our throat their idea. No, because we know. We also know. We know their terms of reference. We know the laws in this country. We know the institutions in this country. So we know what they are supposed to do and what they fail to do. But we cannot let them come and control the narrative and then we say, okay, let us let them be. I think for me that era has to end. So it is us, we the people, controlling the narrative. And I think since Friday, we, the Gambian people, on social media, on the street, at home, I think we are controlling the narrative. That is why you are seeing all these, hush-hush decisions and actions from the State House, from the IGP, from everywhere, because they are responding to the pressure that is coming. So I tell Gambians, increase the volume, increase the pressure. So this is it.
Thank you. So, and the way forward.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead. No, I mean, in terms of the way forward, Lamin talked about what needs to happen. Sirif talks about what needs to happen. We are talking to parents because 66 plus kids, where are their faces? They are just a number. They have faces. They have name and surname. They have mother and father. They are from a home, from a kunda, from a village, from a town. So we have to respect them and know their names and surnames and their parents, and how do we mobilize them to help them organize themselves. They, as we said in the statement, they are not going to be backbenchers. They should be leaders in this fight, because it is their fight too, and more than any one of us, because they lost someone directly. So we are trying to organize them. We want to appeal to the lawyers of the Gambia. How do we get there so that the necessary processes are taken? And as Serif has indicated, the victim center is great. We have a victim center. And so long as victimhood is not ending in this country, victim center is relevant. And victims don't happen only under one regime. So we'll document them. That 66 people, young children for that matter, died at one time. I don't think we've ever registered that in the history of the Gambia. We know Yaya Jammeh at one point killed 56 people, the West Africans. And we know the total number of deaths, but such negligence by state institutions is unprecedented. And we have to record that, we have to document that. So these are the next steps. And we hope you, the journalists, are not just going to report the press conference, the press release of the Ministry of Health and the government, but investigate. Yes, we expect journalists to do deep investigative reporting to expose the negligence and the corruption that is underneath all of these things.